YouTube? It's your boy E-Fitness, aka Sir Flakes a lot. And today's topic, the keto diet. Now, before we even start this video, you already know the routine. Don't forget to like my video, share my video, and like my video in advance because you already know that it's going to be good. Back to today's topic, the keto diet. And the reason that I'm making this video is because I've noticed that over the years, the ketogenic diet has become very popular, especially amongst those looking to lose weight very fast. Now, most of the time, these individuals are new to diet and fitness. And that being so, they don't understand the full grasp of what this diet entails. As a result, they typically fail. My objective with this video is to ensure that you don't fail if you do try the ketogenic diet. So with that being said, you already know how I like to break things down. I like to break it down in 3 easy steps, so I'm not changing it today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about the ketogenic diet. We're going to talk about how to successfully implement the ketogenic diet. And lastly, I'm just going to give you some of the symptoms associated with employing the ketogenic diet. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the keto diet. What is it? Contrary to popular diets like the Atkins diet and the paleo diet, the ketogenic diet isn't low carb, it's actually high fat. And it's important that we make this distinguishment now because I'm going to teach you some stuff in step number 2 about how to successfully implement the ketogenic diet into your everyday lifestyle. But we're still on step number 1, so let's start there. So with the ketogenic diet, your body goes into a state called ketosis. And don't ask me how to spell it, because I don't know how to, but it goes into a state called ketosis. This is when your body uses fat as the primary source of energy as opposed to glucose. Now, we live in a modern society where food is readily accessible. I'm sure you guys all know that. And primarily, this food is accessible in the forms of carbs, and it's very cheap. The problem is, when we eat these carbs, if we don't use them, they get stored as fat. With the ketogenic diet, you're actually allowed to kind of skip a step because what happens is your liver releases what's called ketones into the bloodstream instead of glucose. In the absence of glucose, you start burning fat immediately. This is why the ketogenic diet is so potent. It's because it allows you to burn fat a little faster. That's if you can actually stick to it. Now, don't think that the ketogenic diet is something new. It's actually been around for a while, back in the Paleolithic times. In fact, just think about it. Back in the day, we were hunters and gatherers. Our ancestors, they used to look for lions and bears and tigers and antelopes and zebras. And sometimes they would have to go days without eating. And during that time, they needed some stored energy because they didn't have food every day like we did. And that stored energy came in the form of fat. So whether you know it or not, fat is nothing but stored energy. So with the ketogenic diet, you're going to actually utilize that energy more proficiently because you're just burning it. You don't have to worry about the glucose being there. So in essence, back in the day, fat was used for self-preservation, but unfortunately now it's killing us. So in a nutshell, the ketogenic diet allows your body to use fat as the primary fuel source, I should say, as opposed to glucose. And this allows you to burn fat a little quicker. Now that we talked about the ketogenic diet itself, let's go ahead and talk about how to implement the ketogenic diet. I'm going to try to keep this really simple. It's really easy process for doing so. Since it's a high fat diet, you want to make sure that 75% of your calories come from fat. You want to make sure that 20% of your calories come from protein, and you want to make sure that 5% of your calories come from carbs. If you add that up, that's 100%. Okay? Now, you don't want to deviate from this because if you do, you might not get into a state of ketosis and the ketogenic diet won't be effective. You will, in essence, be in a low carbohydrate diet, but your body won't produce the ketones needed to get into ketosis so that you can burn that fat more efficiently. So it's important that you stick to those macros. Now, if you want to know if you're in a state of ketosis, there's an easy way to do this. You can go on Amazon. You can purchase either a ketone blood reader, had a burp, or you can also get some urine sticks that you pee on and it'll tell you your ketone levels. As long as you're in an acceptable range, you're in ketosis, you're pretty much using the ketogenic diet how it was meant to be implemented. So simple. Make sure that your macros are right. 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbs. Go ahead, say it with me. 75% fats, 20% protein, 5% carbs. All right, we're done with that. So we went over the ketogenic diet, its origins and everything. We talked about how to successfully implement it. And before I move on, one more thing to add to that. When you're implementing a ketogenic diet, I'm telling you 75% of your calories from fat, but that don't mean you go out and get bacon and chopped ham and Spam and all of that preservative-filled meat. you want to try to keep it at least semi-clean. Get some cashews. Get some good lean meat with a little bit of fat on it. Like go 85-15 when it comes to your meat. Don't get that 50% fat ground beef. Try to keep it moderately clean. It's going to help you feel better. All the fat that you're eating is going to help you feel full longer, but at least try to get some good sources of fat, some avocado. Don't just be eating cheeseburgers all day without the bun, okay? That's keto, but you want to try to live a healthier life, okay? Now, as I mentioned, we talked about the ketogenic diet itself. Now we talked about how to implement it. Last thing that we're going to talk about is some of the symptoms that you can expect to experience if you decide to do the ketogenic diet. Now, just like anything else in life, every action has an opposite but equal reaction. And this is no different with the ketogenic diet. So don't think you're going to be out here losing weight, feeling great, have a better mental capacity without any side effects. Now, within the first 3 weeks, that's what I read, you're going to experience a lot of things. You might not. But most people experience what's called the keto flu. It's where you get like flu-like symptoms. You might not feel too well. You're also going to be very hungry until your body adapts because you're not going to have any carbs in your system for the most part. You're going to be lethargic because you have a lack of carbs. You might get constipated because there's not too much fiber in your diet. So you might want to look into a fiber supplement. Also, you might get headaches, but that's just to name a few. And you might have fruity breath from what's called ketoacidosis. You can look that word up. I don't know how to spell it either. That's not my problem. But pretty much, you're going to experience some symptoms. But if you can get through it, first couple of weeks, you're going to be fine. But anyways, just a brief synopsis of what we went over in this video that I've been promising you guys for like the past 5 weeks. We talked about the ketogenic diet. We talked about how to implement the ketogenic diet. And I just told you some of the symptoms associated with the ketogenic diet itself. Because this video is getting long and I gotta go, I would implore, or is that the word? I will encourage you to just go ahead and do some more research on the ketogenic diet. If you decide to implement it, it won't be easy, but it is effective. So if you got what it takes, go ahead and give it a try. Tell me how you like it. But as I mentioned, it's a leg day for me. I got to get ready to go. But before I do, you already know the routine. Don't forget to like my video, share my video, and like my video again. It's your boy E Fitness. I'm out.